As we walk in this life today, 2024, we're living in a crazy time in history. We living in a time where anything goes, everything is accepted, and it's supposed to be in the name of bringing us happiness and peace and joy and utopia, But has it? How is that working? It's not working, right? It's not working. Um, and we need to remember that there is a way. There is a way that has been proven 2,000 years ago, and that is the way of the Word. I have to remind myself constantly, like on the daily, of who I'm actually fighting. Who is it that I actually need to be targeting my prayers towards? I can think it may be a political leader or a gang over here, or this horrible pedophile over here. But who I need to be aiming my intercessory prayers to is the one that is using all of those people as pawns. There is a big orchestrator in this world. He's called the God of the world, Satan himself. So I have to remind myself of that, or I can get really irritated with certain people, groups, or whatever. But today I want to share this with you. What has helped me? I just made it for myself, and I titled it Mind Renewal Step 1. And 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 6 are the verses. Okay, I'm going to read it in 3 different translations. And I want you to see the difference in each translation, that it just kind of helps us see it more and more. First translation is King James Version. So this is going to be more like the Old English, the harder to understand for me anyway. But there's so many verses I've heard in King James Version all my life that sometimes I start to quote those because I've heard them so much. But it says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal." That means fleshly. I mean, like in person, human. "But mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. We bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ." So that means in line with the word itself. "And being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled." Okay, so that was 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 6. Now I'm going to read it in the NLT. I like this version. I used it when I taught youth, and I just really like it because I am just down home. Okay, I am average. And I like to talk in a language people can understand. "We are human, but we don't wage war as humans do. We use God's mighty weapons." This is talking about Christians. This is how we're supposed to fight the enemy in our day, okay? "We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and destroy false arguments. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ. And after you have become fully obedient, we will punish everyone who remains disobedient." Okay, so then I'm going to go to the Message version. Now, the Message, I like it as like reading a story form, like a devotional. This was written by one man. He said, "This is what I see these verses mean to me." So I would be careful of following one man. Okay, all of these others generally have a whole collection of people coming together to agree. So closer to the true scriptures. But it is very good just to see a person's perspective. So the world is unprincipled. It's a dog eat dog out there. The world doesn't fight fair. But We, as Christians, as God's children, we don't live or fight our battles that way. Never have, never will. The tools of our trade aren't for marketing or manipulation. See a lot of that these days, don't we? But they are for demolishing that entirely, massively corrupt culture that we live in. We use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God. We fit every loose thought and emotion and impulse into the structure of a life shaped by Christ. Our tools are ready at hand for clearing the ground of every obstruction and building lives of obedience into maturity. I love the way it talks about these verses. I like that. Like one person writing to me, I like that. It helps me to see these other verses even deeper. So today, not only did I want to share these verses with you, I wanted to give you an example of why it's good to look at different translations. Compare translations when you're studying. Get different, just different insights into it that may spur you to go a little deeper, to dig a little deeper into what that actually means. And, and then when you start doing that, if you're a word nerd like me, then you'll start looking up certain words in the Greek and the Hebrew, and man, that just it takes a molehill and makes it a mountain of what God says. So this is just to help you study the word, but also it's a good message for today. Remember, we are not fighting against, let's just say, that prodigal child that's strung out on drugs, isn't taking care of their children, okay? We have a lot of that in our area. It's not them we are so angry at. It's their actions we're angry at. It's the loss that they are having and all of their family, everyone who loves them. But it's Satan that we need to get good and mad at and take it out on him. We need to hit our knees and pray like we are praying to kick his teeth out, because we are more than conquerors through Christ who lives in us. Think about that today. Fight the real one and fight with everything you have. Bye.